Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I am possible. It always seems impossible until it's done. It's our revision time. Previous week we revised 2 chapters, and this week we are going to revise the third chapter, reproductive health. Revising our subject gives you practice in the concept. If you thought you haven't started it, you have still time. Start revising. Be wise and revise. Segregate your time. Concentrate on your studies. Read at least a few hours a day. I can give you certain tips. Start early. Create quality notes. Pick a challenge. Move away from all distraction. Maintain proper posture. Take short breaks here and there. Avoid procrastination. That means நாளைக்கு படிச்சுக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு don't postpone your work. Do the work on time. Come, let's revise. Today I am going to discuss few important book inside question and answers. First, we start with RCH, reproductive health care. There are various tasks carried out by this RCH. The important tasks are creating awareness and providing medical assistance to build a healthy society, introducing the sex education in schools to provide information about adolescents and adolescent-related changes, educating the couples and those in the marriageable age groups about the available birth control methods and family planning norms, creating awareness about care for pregnant women and the importance of breastfeeding, and to identify new methods or to improve upon the existing methods of birth control. What is amniocentesis? Amniocentesis is a prenatal technique used to detect any chromosomal abnormalities in the fetus, and it is being often misused to determine the sex of the fetus. Once the sex of the fetus is known, there may be a chance of female feticide. Hence, this amniocentesis is banned. What is birth control method? The voluntary use of contraceptive procedures to prevent fertilization or prevent implantation of fertilized egg into the uterus is termed as birth control. There are 2 types of contraceptive methods. They are temporary and permanent birth control. And we will see the contraceptive methods in detail. Natural birth control method is used to prevent meeting of sperms with ovum. There are several types of natural method. The first one is periodic absistence or rhythm method. So இந்த மெத்தடில் பார்த்தோம்னா ovulation 14th டேல நடக்கும் menstrual cycleல. So ovum can survive for about 2 days. ஓவம் வந்து 2 days உயிரோடு இருக்கும். And the sperms remain alive for about 72 hours in the female reproductive tract. So coitus should be avoided during this time. So இந்த டைமில் intercourse avoid பண்ணா, so that is called as periodic absistence. So ovulation டைமில் intercourse இருக்கக்கூடாது. Next one, continuous absistence. So it is the simplest method, ரொம்ப reliable method to avoid pregnancy, not to have intercourse for a definite period of time. ஒரு 2 வருஷம் 3 வருஷத்துக்கு குழந்தை வேண்டாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி தள்ளி போடுறது. So next is the coitus interruptus. So it is the oldest family planning method in which the male partner withdraws his penis before ejaculation, therefore preventing the deposition of the sperms into the female reproductive tract. So it's the coitus interruptus. Next one is the lactational amenorrhea. So menstruation cycle வந்து reassume as early as 6 to 8 weeks from after paturation. குழந்தை பிறந்த ஒரு 6 மாதம் வரைக்கும் periods வராது. So however the reappearance of this normal ovarian cycle may be delayed about 6 months during the breastfeeding. So this delay of ovarian cycle is called as lactational amenorrhea. So இது ஒரு natural method, but it is unreliable form of birth control. So suckling by the baby during the breastfeeding stimulates the pituitary gland to increase the prolactin hormone. So prolactin hormone வந்து increase ஆகிட்டே இருக்கும் in order to increase the milk production. So this high prolactin concentration in the mother's blood prevents the menstrual cycle by suppressing the release of the gonadotropin releasing hormone from the hypothalamus and gonadotropin secretion from the pituitary. So அப்போ milk secretion இருக்கிறதுனால the gonadotropin releasing hormoneன்றது suppress ஆகிடும். Next is the barrier method. So barrier method அப்படின்னா it prevents a barrier from meeting the ovum and the sperm. ஸோ இதில் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் பேரியர் இருக்குது. கெமிக்கல் பேரியர், மெக்கானிக்கல் பேரியர், ஹார்மோனல் பேரியர். ஸோ கெமிக்கல் பேரியர் மீன்ஸ் ஃபோமிங் டேப்லெட்ஸு, இந்த மெல்டிங் சப்போஸ்டரிஸ், ஜெல்லிஸ், க்ரீம்ஸ், இதெல்லாம் கெமிக்கல் ஏஜென்ட்ஸாக யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க டு இன்ஆக்டிவேட் த ஸ்பெர்ம்ஸ் இன் த வெஜினா. அண்ட் தென் த மெக்கானிக்கல் பேரியர் மெத்தட்ஸில் பார்த்தோன்னா காண்டம்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க. காண்டம்ஸ் இஸ் யூஸ்ட் பை த மேல் whereas த ஃபீமேல் uses the diaphragm and the cervical caps. So this condoms என்ன பண்ணும் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோன்னா it prevents the entry of sperm into the female reproductive tract. So this condom should be discarded after a single use. Condom வந்து safe, it is a safeguard for the user from the AIDS and also from STD, sexually transmitted diseaseல இருந்து எய்ட்ஸ்ல இருந்தும் ப்ரொடெக்ட் பண்ணும். சேஃப் செக்ஸ் கான்டாக்டுக்கு condoms plays a very important role. This condom is made up of polyurethane, latex and lambskin. Then cervical caps, diaphragm அது பார்க்கலாம். ஸோ ஃபீமேல் reproductive tract கவர் பண்ணிக்குவாங்க before the coitus in order to prevent the sperm entering into the uterus. So this is the mechanical barrier. Chemical barrier na chemicals agents use பண்ணோம். Mechanical barrier na condoms, diaphragms and cervical caps. Next, hormonal barrier. Hormonal barrier means it prevents the ovaries from releasing the ovum. So ovary இருந்து egg release ஆகாமல் தடுக்கும். It thickens the cervical fluid. ஓகேவா. ஸோ ஓரல் கான்ட்ராசெப்டிவ்ஸ் பார்த்தோம்னா நிறைய பில்ஸ், ஸோ மாத்திரைகள் யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. இட் இஸ் யூஸ் டு ப்ரிவெண்ட் த ஓவிலேஷன் பை இன்ஹிபிட்டிங் த செக்ரேஷன் ஆஃப் FSH அண்ட் LH ஹார்மோன். FSH LH ஹார்மோனை ஸ்டாப் பண்ணுவாங்க, ஓவிலேஷன் ஆக விடாமல் தடுக்கிறது. A combined pill is also present. It contains synthetic progesterone and ஆஸ்டிரோஜன். சஹாலி அப்படின்ற ஒரு கான்ட்ராசெப்டிவ் பில் இருக்குது. அது இட் இஸ் ரிசர்ச் இஸ் டன் இன் லக்னோ. India contains a non-steroidal preparations called centrochromen. Next one is the IUDs, intrauterine devices. So the intrauterine devices are inserted by the medical experts in the uterus through the vagina. So in the devices, there are many devices available: copper releasing IUDs, hormone releasing IUD, non-medicated IUDs, etc. First we see copper releasing IUDs. Copper releasing IUD அப்படின்னு பார்க்கும்போது டிஃபர் ஃப்ரம் த ஈச் அதர் பை த அமௌண்ட் ஆஃப் காப்பர். காப்பரை பொறுத்து அதனுடைய இது வேலை செய்யும். ஸோ காப்பர் ஐயூடிஸில் பார்த்தா நிறைய எக்ஸாம்பிள்: CUT 380A, நோவா டி, CU7, CUT 380AG, மல்டிலோட் 375, எக்ஸெட்ரா. இட் ரிலீசஸ் த ஃப்ரீ காப்பர் அண்ட் காப்பர் சால்ட்ஸ் இன் டு த யூட்ரஸ். காப்பரை ரிலீஸ் பண்ணும் அண்ட் சப்ரஸஸ் த ஸ்பெர்ம் மொட்டாலிட்டி, ஸ்பெர்ம் மூவ் ஆகிறத தடுக்கும். ஸோ தே கேன் ரிமைன் இன் த யூட்ரஸ் ஃபார் ஈவன் 5 to 10 years. So our next one is the hormone releasing IUD. Hormone releasing IUD are often called as intrauterine systems. So அதில் வந்து progesterone and LNG-20. So they increases the viscosity of the cervical mucus, thereby prevents the sperm entering into the cervix. And then non-medicated IUDs. These are the plastics or stainless steel நால செய்யப்பட்டிருக்கும். Lips loop is a double S-shaped plastic device which is used as a non-medicated IUDs. So question will be asked in this IUDs. IUDலேருந்து கண்டிப்பாக கேள்வி கேட்பாங்க. 1 marks would also be asked. சூஸில் கேட்பாங்க. Dash is a copper releasing IUD. எக்ஸாம்பிள் உங்களுக்கு மாற்றி மாற்றி கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க. ஸோ யூ ஹாவ் டு ரைட் த ஆன்சர்ஸ். அண்ட் லாஸ்ட் ஒன் இஸ் த பெர்மனன்ட் பெட் கண்ட்ரோல். பெர்மனன்ட் பெட் கண்ட்ரோல் அப்படின்னா இதுக்கு மேலே குழந்தைய வேண்டாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ப்ரிவெண்ட் பண்ணுறது. ஸோ அதில் வந்து சர்ஜிக்கல் ஸ்டெரிலைசேஷன் மெத்தட் இருக்குது. there are 2 types of method. One is tubicotomy, another one is vasectomy. ஸோ டியூபிகோட்டோமியில் பார்த்தோன்னா ஃபெலோப்பியன் டியூபை கட் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஃபெலோப்பியன் டியூப்னு சொன்னாலே அது ஃபீமேல் தான். ஸோ அப்போ டியூபிகோட்டோமி இஸ் ஸ்டெரிலைசேஷன் மெத்தட் இன் ஃபீமேல். இன் திஸ் ப்ரொசீஜர் a small portion of the fallopian tubes are cut and tied up by the small incision in the abdomen through the vagina. அடுத்தது வெசெக்டோமி அப்படின்னும் போது இட்ஸ் மேல் ஸ்டெரிலைசேஷன் மெத்தட். இன் திஸ் ப்ரொசீஜர் வாஸ் டிஃப்ரென்ஸை கட் பண்ணி டைட் பண்ணுவாங்க அண்ட் ஸ்மால் இன்செஷன் ஆன் த ஸ்கார்டம் டு ப்ரிவெண்ட் த என்ட்ரி ஆஃப் ஸ்பெர்ம் இன் டு த யூரித்ரா. So vasectomy prevents the sperm from heading off to the penis as the discharge has no sperms in it. What is STD? Sexually transmitted diseases. It is also called venereal diseases or reproductive tract infection are called as sexually transmitted infection STI. Normally, this STI are transmitted from one person to other person during intimate sexual contact with an infected partner. Infections like HIV, hepatitis B are transmitted sexually as well as by sharing of infusion needles, that is the Veflon, we can call it as Veflon, surgical instruments, etc. with infected people. Blood transfusion or from infected mother to baby. People in the age of 15 to 24 are prone to this infection. There are different types of STI: bacterial, viral, protozoan, and the fungal STI. Let's see one by one its causative agent and the symptoms. First is the bacterial STI. Gonorrhea is caused by Neisseria gonorrhoeae, which affects the urethra, rectum, and throat, and in females, the cervix also get affected. Pain and pus discharge in the genital tract and burning sensation during urination occurs. Second is the syphilis. It is also a bacterial STI which is caused by Treponema pallidum. The symptoms takes place in 3 stages. In primary stage, formation of painless ulcers found on the external genitalia. In secondary stage, skin lesions, rashes, swollen joints, and fever and hair loss may occur. And in tertiary stage, loss of movement, mental disorder, visual impairment, heart problems, etc. takes place. Next one is the chlamydiasis. It is caused by Chlamydia trachomatis. This trachoma affects the cells of the columnar epithelium in the urinogenital tract, respiratory tract, and conjunctiva that is present in the eye. Next one is the lymphogranuloma veruneum. It is caused by Chlamydia trachomatis. It affects the cutaneous, that means the skin or mucosal genital damage, urethritis and endocervictis inside the cervix. Locally harmful ulcerations and genital elephantiasis are the symptoms of this lymphogranuloma veruneum. Next, we can see some of the viral STIs. First is the genital herpes caused by herpes simplex virus, which causes pain during urination, bleeding between periods, swelling in the groin nodes. Next, second one is the genital warts, which is caused by human papilloma virus. It forms tumors on the external genitalia, cervix, and perianal regions. Hepatitis B is another viral STI which is caused by hepatitis B virus, which causes fatigue, jaundice, fever, rash, and stomach pain. Liver cirrhosis and liver failure occur in the latter stage. Next one is the AIDS, which is caused by HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. The symptoms of AIDS are enlarged lymph nodes, prolonged fever, prolonged diarrhea, weight reduction, and night sweating. Next we see the fungal STI, that is candidiasis, which is caused by Candida albicans. It attacks the mouth, throat, intestinal tract, and vagina. Vaginal itching, abnormal vaginal discharge, and pain during urination. This fungal STI mainly occurs in female. Next one is the protozoan STI, that is trichomoniasis, which is caused by Trichomonas vaginalis. The symptoms are vaginitis, greenish yellow vaginal discharge, itching and burning sensation, urethritis, epididymitis, and prostatitis. It may also occur both in male and female. So next we move on to cervical cancer. Cervical cancer is caused by a sexually transmitted virus called human papilloma virus. This human papilloma virus may cause abnormal growth of cervical cells. The most common symptoms of cervical cancer are pelvic pain, increased vaginal discharge, and abnormal vaginal bleeding. The risk factors of cervical cancer include having multiple sexual partners and prolonged use of contraceptive pills. How you can diagnose the cervical cancer? We can diagnose the cervical cancer by pap smear combined with an HPV test. X-ray, CT scan, MRI and PET scan may also be used to determine the stages of cancer. The treatment of cervical cancer include radiation therapy, surgery and chemotherapy. Cervical cancer can be prevented with vaccination. Primary prevention begins with HPV vaccination of girls aged 9 to 13 years before they become sexually active. Healthy diet, avoid using tobacco, preventing early marriages, practicing monogamy and regular exercise minimize the risk of cervical cancer. We will discuss about infertility and ART, that is assisted reproductive technology. First we see what is infertility. Infertility means inability to conceive or inability to produce children even after unprotected sexual behavior is called infertility. That is the inability of man to produce sufficient numbers or quality of sperms to impregnate a woman, or inability of women to become pregnant or maintain a pregnancy. So this infertility may occur both in male and female. So what are the main causes of this infertility? The main causes are tumors formed in the pituitary gland or in the reproductive organs, malformation of cervix or fallopian tubes, and inadequate nutrition before adulthood. Long-term stress also damages the menstrual cycle, which will affect fertility. Ingestion of toxins, that means heavy metal, cadmium, and heavy use of alcohol, tobacco, and marijuana, that is bodhipurul, injuries to the gonads and also aging, which is the main cause for infertility. Some of the other causes of infertility in men and women are pelvic inflammatory disease, uterine fibroids, and endometriosis. What is endometriosis? Growth of tissues outside the uterus. Endometrium is the inner layer of the uterus. So a tissue grows outside the uterus, that is called as endometriosis. These are the main common causes of infertility in women. Low body fat in women, this is a psychiatric disorder, eating disorder characterized by fear of gaining weight. Undescended testes and swollen veins in scrotum is the cause for infertility in male. And then tight clothing in men may rise the temperature in the scrotum and affect the sperm production. We all know that scrotum acts as a thermoregulator. You should not wear tight clothes. Men should not wear tight clothes. Underdeveloped ovaries or testes. Female may develop antibodies against her partner sperm. Male may develop an autoimmune response to their own sperms. These are some of the causes for infertility in men and women. So what is meant by Mayer-Rokitansky syndrome? All women are born with ovaries, isn't it? All women are born with ovaries, but some do not have the functional uterus. Uterus is not functional to bear a baby. This condition is called as Mayer-Rokitansky syndrome. Next, we move on to assisted reproductive technology, ART. ART is a collection of procedures which include the handling of gametes or embryos outside the body to achieve a pregnancy. This intrauterine insemination. This procedure is used to treat infertile men with low sperm count. The semen is collected. What is semen? Semen is nothing but group of sperms. So the semen is collected either from the husband or from a healthy donor, and it is introduced into the uterus through the vagina by a catheter. Catheter is nothing but a wire which carries or which transports the sperms into the vagina. After stimulating the ovaries to produce more ova, the sperms swim towards the fallopian tube to fertilize the egg, resulting in normal pregnancy. So this type of art is the intrauterine insemination. Second one is the IVF. It is also called as test tube baby. In this technique, the sperms and eggs are allowed to unite outside the body in a laboratory. So that is called in vitro, outside the body. Once or more fertilized eggs may be transferred into the woman's uterus, where they may implant in the uterine lining and develop. If excess embryos are produced, they can be cryopreserved, that is frozen for future use. IVF was used to treat women with blocked, damaged or absent fallopian tubes. Today, IVF is used to treat many causes of infertility. There are some basic steps involved in IVF. They are ovarian stimulation, egg retrieval, fertilization, embryo culture, and embryo transfer. How these eggs are retrieved from the ovaries? By giving the hormone injection, that is HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin injection. Egg retrieval is done by minor surgery under general anesthesia using ultrasound guide after 34 to 37 hours of HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin injection. The eggs are then prepared and stripped from the surrounding cells. At the same time, the sperm preparation is done using a special media. After preparing the sperms, the eggs are brought together. 10,000 to 1 lakh motile sperms are needed for each egg for fertilization. So after this fusion of male and female gametes, the zygote is formed. Then the zygote is allowed to divide, that is cleavage is happening to divide to form 8-cell blastomia, and then transferred into the uterus for a successful pregnancy. The transfer of an embryo with more than 8 blastomia stage into the uterus is called embryo transfer technique. Next one is the zygote intrafallopian transfer. As in IVF, the zygote up to 8 blastomia stage is transferred into the fallopian tube by laparoscopy. The zygote continues its natural division and migrates towards the uterus where it gets implanted. Zygote intrafallopian. Inside the fallopian tube, the zygote is inserted. Next one is the intrauterine transfer. Intrauterine. Inside the uterus, the embryos are transferred. Embryo with more than 8 blastomere is inserted into the uterus to complete its further development. In previous cases, in a zygote intrafallopian transfer or IVF, you can able to see that zygote is introduced in the fallopian tube, whereas in this IUT, intrauterine transfer, the embryos are inserted into the uterus directly. Next is gamete intrafallopian transfer, GIFT. Transfer of an ovum collected from the donor into the fallopian tube. In this, the eggs are collected from the ovaries and placed with sperms in one of the fallopian tubes. The eggs are collected and it is placed in the fallopian tube. The zygote travel towards the uterus and get implanted in the inner lining of the uterus. here, so transferred inside the fallopian tube. That means transfer of ovum collected from the donor into the fallopian tube. Next is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. In this method, only one sperm is injected into the focal point of the egg to fertilize. Only one fertile egg is taken and only one fertile sperm is taken, and this sperm is injected into the particular point of the cytoplasm of the egg. The sperm is carefully injected into the cytoplasm of the egg. Fertilization occurs in 75 to 85% of eggs injected with the sperms. So the zygote is allowed to divide to form an 8-cell blastomere, and then it is transferred to the uterus to develop a protective pregnancy. Next, we will move on to surrogacy. Surrogacy means it is a method of assisted reproduction or agreement whereby a woman agrees to carry a pregnancy for another person, Vadagetai, who will become the newborn child's parent after birth. Though in vitro fertilization, embryos are created in the lab and it is transferred into the surrogate mother's uterus. After childbirth, this surrogate mother, have to hand over the child to the original parents. Next is the male infertility prevention. How will you prevent male infertility? You might have heard this word azoospermia. In previous classes, we discussed about this azoospermia. Azoospermia is defined as absence of spermatozoa in the ejaculated semen. So if the sperms are not active or present in this semen, so that condition is called as azoospermia. So this can be treated with the help of microtesticular sperm extraction. Microtesticular sperm extraction. Microsurgical sperm retrieval from the testicles involves a small midline incision in the scrotum. So scrotum is present outside the abdominal cavity where the testis lies. So this scrotum is divided, or a small incision is made in the scrotum, and you can able to see one or both the testes inside it. So under the microscope, the seminiferous tubules are dilated. They are produced to small amount of testicular tissues in areas of active sperm production and can be removed and improved for sperm yield compared to traditional biopsy technique. Biopsy is nothing but taking a part of skin from our body and testing it if there is any problem in our skin and all. Likewise, a small part of testis is removed and it can be tested whether they contain sperms or not. So these are some of the different methods of art assisted reproductive technology. So after this after the mother is pregnant, how will you detect the fetal disorders during the early pregnancy? We have to detect these disorders and we have to correct it. And there are some of the methods for detection of the fetal disorders. They are ultrasound scanning. Ultrasound scanning has no risk other than the mild discomfort due to pressure from the transducer that is used on the abdomen of the mother. So radiations cannot be passed into this mother, and it will not affect the child. So ultrasonography is usually performed in the first trimester for dating. For dating means what? When the child will born, or the determination of the number of fetuses, whether it may be single fetus or it may be two babies. Okay, and for assessment of early pregnancies, if there is any problem in early pregnancies. So this can be find out with help of this ultrasound scanning. It's a normal scanning done for the pregnant women in the first trimester. Okay, so we move on to amniocentesis. This also you might have studied in a previous classes. Amniocentesis involves taking a small sample of amniotic fluid that surrounds the fetus to diagnose for chromosomal abnormalities. So this amniocentesis is also used to find out the sex of the fetus. So this is banned, but it can be used for some time to know about the chromosomal abnormalities in the fetus. Amniocentesis is generally performed in a pregnant woman between the 15th to 20th week of pregnancy by inserting a long, thin needle through the abdomen into the amniotic sac to withdraw a small sample of amniotic fluid. The amniotic fluid is withdrawn from the amniotic sac through a small needle that you might have seen in this picture. So the amniotic fluid contains the cells shed from the fetus. So from the cells, you can able to identify the chromosomal abnormalities found in the child. Next is the chorionic villus sampling, CVS. This CVS is a prenatal test that involves taking a sample of placental tissue to test for chromosomal abnormalities. The placental tissues are taken for test because the placenta connects the mother and the fetus. So this can be taken for test, and we can find out some of the chromosomal abnormalities with the help of this placenta. Next, we move on to the fetoscope. Fetoscope is used to monitor the fetal heart rate and other functions during the late pregnancy and labor. So we can find out the heartbeat of the child with the help of this fetoscope. The average fetal heart rate is between 120 and 160 beats per minute. But for normal man, it is, that 72 beats per minute. But for our fetus, it is 120 to 160 beats per minute. An abnormal fetal heart rate may mean that the fetus is not getting enough oxygen, and it indicates other problems also.